The war in Afghanistan continues to claim lives. Here, villagers prepare to bury those killed in a US airstrike. The UN only started counting civilian casualties in 2009, 8 years into the conflict. But in the decades since then, over 100,000 civilians were killed or injured. In Munich, the US was explaining the deal it's now struck with the Taliban, an effort to try and end the war.
We have on the table right now a reduction in violence proposal that was negotiated between our ambassador and the Taliban. It looks very promising. We have now been for a few days now in the process of consulting, first with our Congress. I've had many conversations, and then secondly, concurrently, with our NATO allies in Brussels.
Now the US has done its deal, its partners must follow. Other NATO countries still have 8,000 personnel in the country serving alongside the 12,000 US troops.
We are not leaving Afghanistan, but we are prepared to adjust our force level if the Taliban demonstrate the will and the ability to reduce violence and make real compromises.
Cut out of the negotiations with the Taliban that had gone on for over a year with the Afghan government. President ASHRAF GHANI had demanded a ceasefire be put in place before any deal. Instead, the Taliban have only agreed to what's being called a reduction in violence.
The critical test is going to be, will the Taliban accept an election as the mechanism, the crucial mechanism of referring to the Afghan people, or do they still have a view of conquest?
Of course, Afghanistan's last election has still not been formally decided. ASHRAF GHANI has the most number of votes, but he's not been declared the winner. That is going to make things difficult in the coming days because Afghanistan needs to choose a delegation for those talks that it now needs to have with the Taliban. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Munich.